guess about 5 or 6 years ago, I started sensing these presences in the room during our week-long events.
It started at the week-long events.
Well, it started at the 5-day, 4.5-day workshops. I started, out of the corner of my eye, started perceiving certain things, primarily when we were doing the pineal gland meditations. At other meditations as well, but there was an energy in the room that I noticed, and they're very noble, and they're very interested in what we're doing.
Observing?
Many, many times in the beginning, they observe. They are along the walls, and they're not small. They're very, very tall.
How tall?
Most of them probably 3 meters, maybe more tall. I mean, they're beautiful and big. And they have this grace about them and this presence. And they're very interested. They observe. And when I started seeing them and perceiving them, I never really asked who they were. I just observed. And for me, when we do the pineal gland meditations, I'm up at 3 in the morning or 2:30 in the morning, and we're going, and everybody's sitting up and laying down, and I'm awake the entire time, and I'm working with the audience, and I start doing the meditations with my eyes closed while I'm doing it, and a lot of times I open my eyes and I'm in theta. The door between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind is wide open, and in a sense, I'm dreaming with my eyes open, and all of a sudden I start perceiving things. Well, when that started happening, people started reporting things back to me, and sometimes it was kind of cool because we started getting stories of 2 different people in a room of 1,000 people saying, I saw this incredible thing, and the other person saw the exact same thing. And I saw something very similar. I never said it, but all of a sudden you're starting to get a collective noticing something happening. Well, I was getting ready for the day at one of our events, and as I was waking up and moving around and I was between worlds, they started talking to me. And they said to me, we can only lower our frequency to a certain point. We can't lower our frequency anymore, our energy anymore, because we would change our consciousness, and we love ourselves too much to do that. But if you can raise the frequency of the audience to a higher frequency, we'll meet in that place where that energy intersects. And so there's an invitation or a door for them to move through or to exist as. And
you think they've been supporting your work?
Yeah. I don't know if they directly support my work, but I'll tell you that maybe the better word to use is they approve of it. And there would be like an older sister, an older brother that totally loves you and sees that you're really making an effort, you're making great strides, and they're just a little bit higher on the spiral, in consciousness. And so now, fast forward to a few years later, I don't want to jinx this, it's kind of funny because I don't really talk about it that much, and this happens kind of wild and inconsistent, and maybe we'll play a couple testimonials of people who have been healed by them, and they are sometimes very aggressive. I mean, very aggressive. Though, in one story, a woman had a severe problem with her hip and her knee, and while she was in the middle of a healing, this being grabbed her leg and shook it really hard, and kept shaking it until it released. And she was yelling in her mind, hey, that hurts? And just kept working it until finally it broke loose. And so I don't know how that happens, but the important point is that it is so real to the person, and that person's leg is up in the air, by the way, while this is going on. Whether it's real or not, if it's the person experiencing it in a lucid state, that it seems so real, then it is real. And the person has